Yo, what's up, all you 1010 Music Blackbox users? My name is 202, and today we're reviewing the Blackbox's audio converters and seeing what they sound like. Well, actually, let me just get right to the point. I have been playing with the input and recording of the Blackbox for about the last hour, and I can say, first of all, they sound great. It sounds fun. Highly recommend it. But with that said, it's different. It's not what you're thinking it is when I say it's great, okay? It has its own character, and it represents sound in a fun way that is not bad. It's not it's not low quality. It's clean, it's crisp, but it definitely has its own character. So what I did is I recorded an 808. So let's flip the camera over here, and I'll show you an audio signal that I recorded so you can see for yourself. Up top, we have the sound sample that I recorded. That is the wave, so channel 1 is the wave of the sample imported into the Blackbox. So coming straight from the computer into the Blackbox through the micro SD card. Track 2, the red track, is the recorded sample, and that is what the Blackbox recorded. You don't even have to hear this to see there is a difference, and that's okay. That's because the Blackbox has a high threshold, and it recorded at -5 dB. All right, so here is my setup. I'm using a Focusrite Claret. It's going directly from the Claret right into one of these. So directly from the Claret right into the Blackbox. I was triggering it into the computer with the MPD, but right now the signal is coming from the computer into the Blackbox. And as you can see, it's recording at a -5 dB, and that's with this all the way high. So a high threshold. That's really cool that it has that high of a threshold. It doesn't even go above -5 dB, which I thought was cool, or below it, I guess. Anyways, a couple of things that were interesting is compression plays a big deal. I have the compression off, but if I have the compression on, it makes a significant difference to the sound. I like the tone better personally. It didn't muddy the sound in any way, but it definitely gave the tone something different. With the compressor off, still didn't get a good representation of it. It sounds like there's a limiter on it, and let's go back to the actual recording to see what the representation of that. So here we are back at the recording, and the bottom track is significantly smaller than the top track. See how there's more. It's not only is it limited, it looks like it might even be compressed a bit. I'd have to zoom in and do some analysis, but it's just for my ear, it's clearly representing not only that -5 dB, but representing some limiting too. The tone is different. The top track is got a bit of distortion to it on purpose, and the bottom track kind of smooths out that distortion. Now, as far as audio quality goes, it sounds like the way I want it to be represented. I want to be clear, even though the Blackbox, the recording in samples, doesn't really represent what is going in at 100%, maybe 95% of what's going into it. It sounds great. It doesn't sound like it's losing quality. I was playing everything at from a 32-bit file at 48K, and it sounded like it recorded at that kind of level. And when I was editing and trimming the wave in the Blackbox, it looked like it was representing a 32-bit 24K file that was recorded. So it looked representative, even though it didn't sound representative. And so I would say it's better than other samplers I've had in the past, whose representation is so off it's insulting. I would also say, unlike other samplers in the past, where when you record in, it not only is insulting, it's just way different than what your ear hears from the original file. I would say it has a character that does not ruin the sound and actually gives it a cool tone, and actually represents its own tone. It's an instrument, in my opinion. It's something to dump sounds into, sit on the couch, and have a fun time with, and it do its thing, and it does that. Now, if you're a stickler for that kind of stuff, if what goes in that you record needs to be at 96K and sound exactly as you intended to record and hear from your direct source, then you're not gonna be using the black box anyways. You should be using the Claret on its own, in a DAW, and then using the VSTs to pop out that sound you want, because you're not going to get that from the black box. Anyways, overall, I think its recording representation is great. Its scores about what it looks like, a 95 out of 100. And for my money, given the tone it creates, as long as you are aware of that compression element and turn it off and on and play with it, it's a 97. It gets right up there. I don't want to give it a perfect score, because you never know when you might need a close to perfect representation of what you're recording. It's hard for me to think of something like that, because I do sound design. I would just dump the file into the micro SD card and play that file if I wanted to hear what I've made, or the design the tone I'm trying to go for. But the black box has these limiting and compression-y overall effects on it that its circuitry provide, that give the tone and sound something different. Like I said, about a 5% difference. You can notice it, you can hear it, and it's not bad. In the 808, a little bit of the high was there, and it was more stereo-y, which makes sense because I was recording in a right and left channel in a pure stereo setting, while what I was creating in the computer was a note from a keyboard, so it wasn't, it was being created on as its own image natively, so it didn't have to only work in a stereo setting. It probably covers a whole bigger field. So that'd be another difference. Overall, really like it. I think you should get it. Best sampler I've heard to date. Anyways, the black boxes is not. I wish I can give you some audio samples for you to hear yourself, but it's not anything worth talking about. And recording in the video compression would just add another layer of lies to your ear. So you're just gonna take my word for it, test it yourself, and see what you think. Reply in the comments below. Peace.